Hello guys, my name is John Michael E. Reyes and we are now on the sorry for that. We are now on the last chapter of the OSI model, or the last chapter for the CCNA 1, the chapter 11, and somewhat we are done now in the chapter or the OSI model, and we are now here on the chapter 11, build a small network. Then up to this point in the course, we have considered the services that a data network can provide to the human network, examined the features of each layer of OSI model, and the operation of TCP and IP protocols, and looked in the details at Ethernet, a universal LAN technology. The next step is to learn how to assemble the elements together in functioning network that can be maintained. So, first of all, I've prepared some packet tracer topology that I've created and submitted for the final defense of us, and that's the thing I will use for later in order to show you how to build a small networks and other stuff. Then it is somewhat just a preview of a network design and network topology. So let's go and let's try to learn about all the things that we should learn in the chapter 11. First of all, we all know that there are always a type of threats and vulnerabilities in our systems, technologies, PCs and devices, and intermediary devices. But first of all, we need to check the type of threats. As you can see, whether wired or wireless computer networks are essential to everyday activities. Individual and organization alike depends on their computers and networks. Intrusion by an authorized person can result in costly and other stuff, and it can somewhat destroy all the things or get the primary information that he needs in order for you to crash the system, in order for them to crash the system and other stuff. The types of threats that we are commonly seeing is somewhat just like a information theft. Information theft, this is a breaking in a computer to obtain confidential informations. Then it is somewhat just in a company or other stuff, they will try to steal some blueprints and other stuff of the building, and in order to have some further heist and other stuff. Then data loss and manipulation is breaking into a computer to destroy or alter data records. Examples of data loss: sending a virus that reformats a computer's hard drive. Example of data manipulation: breaking into record system, change information such as price of an item. Then as you can see, it is already manipulated, and there are some data loss. Then identity theft, this is a form of information where personal information is stolen. As for mine, someone is purchasing online and he is using my account and other stuff. Then the disruption of service or somewhat denial of service attack, then preventing legitimate user from accessing services. Then physical securities, the physical securities are hardware threats, environmental threats, electrical threats, maintenance threats. Then types of vulnerabilities, as you can see in here, there are so many types of weaknesses. Then activity, security, sorry for that. Then activity, these are one of the activity of chapter 11, the security threats and vulnerabilities. Information theft, identity theft, data loss and manipulation. Then disruption of service. Then sending a virus that to reformat a hard drive, that would be a data loss and manipulation. Altering data records, that would be a data loss. Then preventing legal users from accessing the data service, that would be a disruption of service. Stealing scientific research report, that would be an information theft. Then stealing a company's user database, information theft as well. Overloading a network to keep the user out is it will be a disruption of service or denial of service attack. Then impersonating someone to obtain credit and making illegal purchases online will be identity theft. Then let's check. Then as you can see, it is all correct and somewhat is concrete because it is somewhat just you should know the context clues and other stuff. Then in this one, label critical and components to be maintenance. Then control the temperature and humidity, environmental of course. Use of security cameras. I think I'm not sure in here, but let's skip this one. Control access to console ports. I think that would be this one in hardware, or then the use of security cameras would be in hardware also. Install redundant power supplies. Prevent lockup devices to prevent that would be a maintenance, I think. Then create positive airflow, that would be environmental. Then install UPS system, that would be electrical. I think it's electrical. Then let's check. Then as you can see, my bad, these two are because lockup device, it is in hardware. I forgot that. Control access to console port, it is somewhat just giving password to a CLI or switch routers and other stuff. Then let's check for another major topic of this chapter 11. And then we are back in the types of malware or viruses, and as you can see, there are so many types of malware and viruses. So first, let's learn this one. Then viruses, the computer type of malware that propagates by inserting copy of itself. Then the worms are similar to viruses that they replicate function copies of themselves and can use the same type of damage, somewhat like viruses. Then Trojan horse is another type of malware named after wooden horse the Greek used to infiltrate Troy. It is a harmful piece of software that looks legitimate. Then that's pretty simple. Then as you can see in here, virus, then these worms, then these are Trojan horse. Then reconnaissance attack is the discover and mapping of system. Access attack is the unauthorized manipulation of data, and the denial of service attack is disabling or corruption of network system or services. And access attacks is somewhat just exploit the password, trust exploitation, port redirection, and man in the middle. Then denial of service attack is somewhat just easy because it is somewhat just not the most publicly form attack and also among the most difficult to eliminate. Then activity, and this one is the activity. First of all, the computer is used a print server that is the failed update. Then another printer operating slow, it is somewhat operating slow, that would be many copies of some files, so it would be worms, I think. Then Sharon, an IT intern at Acme Inc., noticed some strange packets while revising the security logs generated. A handful of IP addresses of the internet were sending malformed packets of several IP addresses at several different random port number inside Acme Inc. So that would be a reconnaissance attack because somewhat that reconnaissance is just for mapping of the system. Then so you can see it is all correct. Then let's go to the another one. Then Jeremiah was browsing the internet personal computer when a random website offered free to clean. And with that, we already know that it is a virus because I set up like that would always be a virus. Then Ariana found a flash drive laying on the pavement of a mall. Then that would be a Trojan horse because of, as you can see in here, Ariana opened a few photos before formatting the flash drive, and afterward Ariana noticed that her laptop camera was active, so it would be a denial of service or a Trojan horse because someone might already manipulating or doing something on her laptop and other stuff. Then as you can see, it is correct. Then Angela, an IT staff member of Acme, noticed that communication with the company web server is very slow. That would be a denial of service attack because of server is slow, and Cause of flow is responsible due to computer on the internet sending a very large number, so it would be a denial of service attack. Then the last one would be access, because obviously there's no answer in access lately, so it will be access. Then as you can see, it is all correct. Then today, now I'll gonna teach you or tutor you about the show commands, description, and other stuff. Then let's try to answer this first. Then the first one would be, you suspect there is a problem with the current switch configuration. You want to see the save configuration, so it would be the show startup command because of the save. Then you are on a call with the Cisco Technician Assistant personnel. They ask you for the switch iOS name, RAM and VRAM, and the flash available. They are also asked for the hexadecimal boot location. That would be a show version because of the hexadecimal boot and all the things that iOS name, RAM and VRAM and flash available. Then the second one would be, you are running an EIGRP routing protocol and need to know the update interval and active interfaces. That would be a IP route because of the intervals and the interfaces by a router. Then you cannot get to the internet. You need to find out if the router has a path to the internet and which protocol has been used to provide the path. So it would be a show IP protocol in order to provide the path. Then your network documentation is really needs to be updated. A quick listing of the IP addresses of the router in the, so it would be just on show ARP because of the MAC addresses. Then last one would be, then let's check. As you can see, it is all correct. Then let's go to another one. Well, hello guys, this is will be fast because of somewhat this is just very easy, and it is somewhat you can find this in the when you are doing a research or a problem solving. So first we are gonna identify the problem, then after that we will gonna establish a theory because that's we all do. Then after that is we will gonna test the theory to determine the cost. Then after the cost is somewhat we will need to establish a plan. Then after we have a plan, we will gonna verify the full, and lastly we should have the documentation in order to do all the things that we need to do. Then as you can see, it is all correct and it is somewhat very easy. So that's all. Then as I promised earlier, I'll gonna show you the topology or the prototype of what I'm making in the final. So this is one, it is a whole building or a whole company, the Rebisco Ortigas, and as you can see there are routers. There should be a router in every floor in order to connect them. Then it is powered by DHCP and servers. Then I've already used the VLSMs and other stuff in order to connect them. Then in order to secure them, I give them passwords, then the service password encryption in order for them to have a secure network and other stuff. Then I've already deleted the full one. I just have this picture because I posted it before. Then I can't found the application, so I'll just gonna show you the complete picture of it. And as you can see, then our prof approved with that because it is somewhat good. Then that's all, and this is what I've learned in the CCNA 1. So the things that I learned is I applied it all in here in that topology. As you can see, there are so many topologies. There are 12 departments and everyone has their own IP address and range, then passwords and other stuff, then the IP blocks and others. So that's all for the tutorial for this chapter, and thank you for watching and goodbye.